強い強い強い。大丈夫。強い強い。
好大好大 ！Oh my god！ 还在还在哦！停了停了停了停了停了！
吓死！
哦！
跟声音一样哦！
又来了又来了哦！哦，でかいでかいでかい！びっくりしたびっくりした！
实在住不了。
いやまだ揺れてるまだ揺れてる。
いやいや
あこれ大きいな。まだ揺れてるまだ。
At 2 a.m. on August 23, emergency earthquake alerts jolted residents awake across Japan's sprawling capital region. Buildings began to shake from Ibaraki and Saitama to Chiba and Tokyo, sending people out of bed and forcing rail operators, utilities, and emergency agencies to begin immediate safety inspections. The magnitude 5.9 earthquake did not generate a tsunami, and there have been no reports of widespread structural collapse. However, at least 38 people were injured, several water pipes ruptured, and parts of the regional rail network were temporarily brought to a halt. What matters now is not only what happened during the earthquake, but what could follow. The Japan Meteorological Agency is warning communities that experienced the strongest shaking to remain alert for another earthquake of similar intensity over the next week, especially during the first 2 or 3 days. According to the agency, the earthquake originated beneath southern Ibaraki Prefecture, northeast of Tokyo. Its depth was initially estimated at roughly 43 miles, but that figure was later revised to about 42 miles or 68 kilometers. The strongest shaking registered at a lower 5 on Japan's seismic intensity scale. That level was recorded in 17 cities and districts across Ibaraki, Saitama, Chiba, and Tokyo. Some of the locations that experienced the strongest motion included Tsukuba, Toride in Ibaraki Prefecture, Kawaguchi, Warabi and Toda in Saitama, Urayasu and Inzai in Chiba, and Tokyo's Adachi Ward. The earthquake was felt across a remarkably wide area from the Tohoku region in northern Japan to the Kansai region farther west. People in high-rise buildings around Tokyo reported slow, prolonged swaying even though they were dozens of miles from the epicenter. It is important to understand the difference between the earthquake's magnitude and the intensity reported in individual communities. Magnitude measures the total amount of energy released at the source of an earthquake. Japan's seismic intensity scale, often called the Shindo scale, describes how strongly the ground actually shakes at a specific location. That means a single earthquake can produce very different levels of shaking depending on distance, local geology, soil conditions, and the design of nearby buildings. At a lower 5, most people feel frightened and may need to hold on to something stable. Unsecured objects can fall from shelves, furniture may move, and older or structurally vulnerable buildings can suffer damage. By late morning on August 23, water pipes ruptured in parts of Tokyo and neighboring communities, sending water onto streets and causing localized flooding. Tokyo officials received roughly 100 reports from residents who experienced low water pressure, interrupted service, or no running water following the earthquake. In Adachi Ward, a fire suppression system inside a supermarket was accidentally activated during the shaking. Large amounts of firefighting foam spilled through the store and onto the sidewalk and surrounding roadway, prompting a response from local firefighters. Rail transportation was also disrupted during the early morning hours. Several JR East commuter lines, including the Keihin to Hoku line and the rapid service on the Joban line, temporarily suspended operations while crews inspected tracks, signals, and other safety equipment. Some trains serving Tokyo and Narita International Airport were delayed. Most local services gradually resumed after inspections were completed. Japan's Shinkansen bullet train system did not experience any major disruption directly connected to this earthquake. Officials also inspected nuclear facilities in the affected region. No abnormalities were detected at the Tokai or Tokai No. 2 nuclear power plants in Ibaraki. Other nuclear facilities that felt the earthquake, including sites associated with Fukushima, also reported no unusual changes in operations or radiation levels. The Japan Meteorological Agency determined that this was a reverse fault earthquake at the boundary between the Pacific Plate and the Philippine Sea Plate. The Kanto region, which includes Tokyo and is home to more than 40 million people, sits above an especially complicated tectonic environment. Several major plates converge and overlap beneath this part of Japan. As pressure builds along the boundaries between those plates, it can eventually be released through an earthquake. The resulting seismic waves can travel across a large part of the country. The earthquake's depth helps explain why it was felt so far from its source. Deeper earthquakes often spread noticeable shaking across a wider area than shallow earthquakes. At the same time, because the rupture occurred about 42 miles underground, the direct surface damage was generally more limited than it might have been during a shallow earthquake of the same magnitude. Long-period ground motion reached level 2 in southern Saitama, northwestern Chiba, and Tokyo's 23 central wards. This type of motion is particularly important for high-rise buildings. Instead of short, sharp jolts, upper floors can sway slowly for an extended period. That movement can cause people to lose their balance, shift unsecured furniture, and trigger elevators to stop automatically for safety inspections. By 3:30 a.m., the Japan Meteorological Agency had not recorded any related aftershock reaching an intensity of 1 or higher, but the absence of an immediate felt aftershock does not mean the risk has ended. Based on previous earthquakes, the agency says there is roughly a 10 to 20% chance that an earthquake of similar intensity could follow a significant initial event. Residents in the areas that recorded a lower 5 have therefore been advised to remain cautious for about 1 week. The first 2 or 3 days are considered the period when another relatively strong earthquake is most likely to occur. This is a precaution based on historical aftershock patterns. It is not a prediction that a catastrophic megaquake is about to strike. It is also not connected to a special Nankai Trough advisory. There is no tsunami threat from the magnitude 5.9 earthquake. Because the rupture occurred deep beneath land, it did not displace the ocean floor in a way that could generate a tsunami. Residents in strongly shaken areas are being advised to inspect their homes for damaged gas lines, leaking water pipes, and newly formed cracks. Heavy furniture and bookshelves should be secured, and flashlights, shoes, phones, and emergency supplies should remain within easy reach in case another earthquake occurs during the night. People living near steep slopes, retaining walls, or rocky terrain should also remain cautious. Strong shaking can loosen soil and rock, increasing the risk of landslides or falling debris even after the main earthquake has ended. The magnitude 5.9 earthquake in Ibaraki has not become a major national disaster, but its effects across Ibaraki, Saitama, Chiba, and Tokyo demonstrate how even a moderately powerful earthquake deep underground can disrupt water service, transportation, and daily life for millions of people. Over the coming days, the priority is not panic. It is preparation, attention to official updates, and caution toward dramatic earthquake predictions that have not been supported by Japan's scientific agencies.